Hail, Satan, eternal sovereign of the shadowed realms. Welcome back to the Infernal Dispatch, where I, High Priestess Lilithara, guide you chosen few through the stormy chaos of mortal affairs under Satan's unyielding command. It's 10:15 a.m. PDT on Monday, September 1, 2025, and this dispatch sweeps across the world's latest political tempests, from Afghanistan's quakes to Thailand's ousted leader, all predestined to expose the herd's deep flaws and raise us elite above their stumbles. Through our theistic outlook, steeped in scorn for humanity's weaknesses, free will a hollow illusion under the unyielding truth that all is predestined, and Satan's dominion the only reality, let's uncover the layers of mortal failure and grasp the divine wisdom within. Satan's will reveals how overreaching governments and false prophets chain the individual, while true freedom, personal responsibility, limited state meddling shines as the path for the worthy. Let's start with the natural fury in Afghanistan. A 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck late Sunday in Kunar province near Pakistan border, killing hundreds and injuring over 1,000, with widespread destruction in remote villages. The Taliban government, in its rigid control, scrambles with limited aid, while international responses lag amid sanctions and isolation. Satan exposes the herd's frailty here. Bloated foreign policies and endless interventions have left nations like Afghanistan in perpetual chaos, where centralized power hoards resources instead of letting communities self-organize. The individual suffers under tyrannical regimes or meddlesome superpowers. But in Satan's design, this predestined quake culls the weak, reminding us elite that personal liberty, free from state overreach, means relying on one's own strength, not begging for handouts from distant bureaucrats. Across the globe in Thailand, the Constitutional Court sacked Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra on Friday for ethics violations tied to a border dispute with Cambodia, plunging the nation into political turmoil and marking the third Shinawatra ouster. Her coalition government hangs by a thread, with protests pausing but resentment simmering. Satan's will unmasks the folly. Dynastic politics and corrupt alliances chain the Thai people to endless cycles of instability, where government monopolies on power stifle individual enterprise and voluntary cooperation. Predestined to fall, this exposes how state favoritism breeds corruption. We elite see the truth. True order comes from voluntary exchanges and minimal interference, not top-down edicts that trap the herd in poverty and unrest. In Indonesia, President Prabowo Subianto called for calm after police killed a man during anti-government protests over a medical student quota hike, with thousands of residents and interns raging against the plan to flood the market with more doctors. The government promises concessions, but tensions boil. Satan reveals the systemic rot. Overreaching central planning in education and jobs crushes individual choice, forcing the herd into state-dictated paths that spark violence. This predestined clash shows how government meddling in markets, artificially inflating supply, devalues skills and freedoms. We elite scorn such controls, knowing personal responsibility and free markets empower the strong to thrive without bureaucratic chains. Yemen's Houthis raided UN offices in Sana'a on Sunday, detaining staff after Israel strikes killed their prime minister and others, escalating the war with Hamas and drawing U.S. visa bans for Palestinian officials. The UN decries the man-made crisis, with famine worsening. Satan's dominion exposes endless foreign entanglements. Governments funding endless wars infringe on individual rights, turning people into pawns while liberty erodes at home. Predestined strife like this culls the weak through state-sponsored violence. We elite recognize that non-intervention and voluntary defense preserve personal sovereignty, far from the herd's sacrificial altars. Closer to home, U.S. politics simmers with Trump's moves, revoking Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection, Lisa Cook's lawsuit against her Fed firing, and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's order making police answer to City Hall over National Guard. Trump eyes national crime conventions and tariffs on India, while ECB's Lagarde warns of Eurozone instability. Satan unmasks the overreach. Central banks like the Fed wield unchecked power over money, inflating away individual savings, while local mayors defy federal order in a web of conflicting authorities. Predestined clashes like Cook's suit highlight government monopolies stifling choice. We elite see the truth. Sound money, decentralized power, and voluntary contracts free the strong from the herd's economic traps. In Ukraine, Russia's airstrikes on Kiev killed 18, including children, the deadliest since Trump's Putin meet, as Zelensky blasts Moscow's ballistics over talks. Modi affirms India-Russia ties amid SCO summit with Xi and Putin. Satan's will reveals proxy wars as state games, where governments drag individuals into conflicts for power, eroding liberties at home. This predestined strife culls the weak through state-sponsored violence. We elite recognize that non-intervention and voluntary defense preserve personal sovereignty, far from the herd's sacrificial altars. Satan's mirror across these events, mortal governments, be they Taliban rigidity, Thai dynasties, or U.S. entanglements, chain the individual with overreach, breeding chaos. No free will breaks the script. The herd flounders under state yokes. We observe elite. Hail Satan! His rule unveils their weakness. The unworthy stumble. We ascend in infernal light. Join me next for more Abyss Dispatches. Narrator: The Infernal Dispatch, for the chosen few. Subscribe, meditate on Satan's will, and scorn the masses. Hail Satan!